Hi, so in this video we will discuss about ngOptions. So this ngOptions is used to populate the data. It is used to populate the data in our select. So to populate a data in our select, that is our drop down, we need an array of objects. We need an array of objects. So this ngOptions can be used for an array of objects. So if in our controller we have an array of objects, so in my controller I have an array of states with some values. And now we can iterate these states over our ngOptions. So this ngOptions we will use in a tag of select. So we will say select ngOptions equal to state as state in states. So this part will be our regular ng repeat. We will represent this ng repeat as a variable. So now this value will be displayed on a UI, and when we select this value, same value and the same value will be, it will act as a it will be selected, and also it will display same value. So for an instance, let's consider we have an array of states. We have an array of states in our controller with some AP and some Karnataka, some Tamil Nadu and some Kerala. So now when we say select ngOptions is equal to state for state in states, state for state in state. So now this will be our regular ng repeat. So now our Angular will iterate this code as, it will write option with value of this state, and also it will display the same state here. It will display the same state here. So now we will see this example. So now we have in our controller we have states. So now these states we are iterating in our ngOption, saying state for state in states, and now we are binding this to some variable in our controller with ng model, and we are taking this variable as a selected state. So now when we run this application, so now in our select box it will display these values, and when we select any of these values, the same value will be assigned to our model. That means that this model has the same value as a state. So this is about when our array is a array of a simple object. So now this is a array of a array of a simple object. So now what happens when we have an array of a complex object? So now we will take an array of a countries, which is an array of object which contains name, which contains id, name, and some value for the continent. So now we can iterate this as, so in our ngOptions, we will iterate it as, let's say we are iterating using country, so we will iterate it as a country dot name for country in countries, So now this country name will be displayed in our select box. So this country name will be displayed in our select box. But when we select any option, this entire object of country will be selected. So this will be displayed, so it will display the country name, but when we select any country name, it will select entire country object. So we are writing it as a country dot name for country in countries, So now it will display country name, and when we select any country, the entire country object will be selected. So now let's see this example. So here we have an array of countries, and here we are writing it as a country name for country in countries, and we are assigning this value to some model, saying it as a as a selected country. So now when we run this, so when we select any country, it will select entire country object. So now when we select any country, it will select this entire country object. Now for suppose, let's say we don't want to select this entire country object, because in our form we are looking, in our form we want to only send the id, we don't want to send this entire country object. So in that case we will write our ngOptions as country.id as country.name for country in countries. We will write it as a country.id as country.name for country in countries. So now this country name will be displayed on our UI, and when we select any country name, this country ID will be selected. This will be selected as value, and this will be displayed on our UI. This will be displayed on UI. So now in our example, we will write it as we will say country.id as country.name for country in countries. Country.id as this country.name for country in countries. So now when we run this, now when we select any country, only id of that country will be selected. And we can also group this. We can also group our options by a means by a particular variable in that object. So let's say we want to group it by we want to group it by our we will group we'll say group by country dot continent, country dot continent. So we are grouping all the values based on the continent. So now when we run this, we'll group by so now we are so now we are grouping it by this country. So now we are grouping it by this continent, country dot continent. So we can group our options based on some value. So now when we select this, only this ID will be selected. Here. So to add a summary, so we can say we will write this ngOptions for an array of objects. We will write this ngOptions for an array of objects. This object can be of a simple type or of a complex type. So when this array is of a complex type, we will write it as a country dot name for country in countries, So now this name will be displayed, and when we select any country or when we select any value, entire object will be selected. So it will select. So now entire object will be selected in this way. Or else we can, if we want to select only particular value in that object, we will say country dot id as country dot name for country in countries. So now it will display the country name on UI, and it will select country ID, and we can also group it by saying country dot ID as country dot name group by country dot continent for country in countries. So this will be always be our plain ng repeat, and if you want to group by, we will add a group by in our ngOptions. So this group by will be displayed as so now we are grouping our countries based on this continent, and when we select this, it will only select ID, because here we are saying country dot id as country dot name group by country dot continent for countries in countries. So this as will act as a which value to select, which value it will select, which value it will select. So this act is used for value and this for is used for display. So now we want to display our country name. So now we want to display the country name, but when we select it, it should select the country.id. When we don't write this as, it will select entire object. When we don't write this as, it will select entire object.